So I now got him a kilogram of beef hide from the skin of the heads. The beef ear muscles somehow had some funny maggot worm stuff in there. So I'm waiting for the deliveries to change and alternate a bit to keep it interesting. So this is what these look like. Enough skin, but enough meat also to keep the pieces interesting. You know, and then I put a bit of wet food on there, so it's a kilogram, different shapes. Needs to be interesting always. If it's just plain like this, he won't enjoy it so much, but if the shapes are irregular, like nature does, and with these I have to be careful often. I don't like that it's like that, but it's probably from hanging them while drying or baking or whatever. That can somehow get caught in the arc of his teeth, so I had some situations where I had to help him pull it off again. But I trust that he will be able to handle those well now. Here, if the space is so narrow, you know, then I can get caught in there somehow. And those plain ones, just skin, no meat on there, I'll have to add wet food, put on there, and then keep it interesting. But the fact that the shapes are different keeps them well engaged usually. And I'm not too keen on the beef ear muscle worms that were in there last time. I had to suspend them in a bucket of water, so the stuff came all out, washed it, and then it was okay, but it's really gross. And it seems to be during storage, if you watch the package arriving and it's already got little holes in the plastic, those maggots have teeth that go through this plastic package. And well, I just dealt with it, but I heard of it before. But anyway, I got put off those for now, and usually I gave him those hide ones before, as they come in different lengths as they cut and dry them. This time it's end pieces and just a kilogram, depending on how much I'm ordering. So these just arrived, and a good learning effect for him is also if the doorbell rings, it's not always invaders, you know. Then I let him know, hey, it's for you, and then he can, then he can also gonna drink some water. Then he can also investigate the parcel. Ja? Ist Wasser für dich? Oh, he thinks he can have more now, but it's over. It's over. Ja, die sind alle für dich. More later. Yeah. So he can then investigate the parcel as it arrives, and that way have the connection in his mind. When the doorbell rings, it might also be for me, for him. And then as I open the parcel, I let him discover and make a whole ceremony of it. And he can very well differentiate whether a stranger is ringing or whether a parcel arrives. If a parcel arrives, I always go halfway to receive it, so the person doesn't have to come directly to the door, and then have the celebration of opening the parcel together. Yes. What I also do sometimes, if I have a piece of meat that I didn't really enjoy, I dry it like that in the fridge. So this is like biltong. Before it gets too hard, I'll have to cut it into pieces. And that also makes a nice snack for him. Actually for me too, but I prefer ground beef somehow. But this is how you can also make your dried meat in your fridge. In the fridge, because then no flies can arrive. And here I'm just gonna reward him with an extra piece now. Gonna put some of this wet food in there to make it more. So it's got the wet food in there, and he's already in position. We will get. Ja, ist fertig. Ja, okay. Aber lecker, ja? Okay. Ja. Obviously the wet food goes first. So now he's got more to deal with. Very good. And I'm so happy that he doesn't feel the camera's eye as a threat now while he's having something wonderful there. I would imagine it's because the camera is accompanying us during our walks, and it's basically as if I'm looking at him now, but actually being fixed and focused like that would feel as a threat, someone staring at him like this. But also on our walks, I'm really happy how much I'm able to film, because initially he would not feel comfortable with the camera looking at him all the time. So said and done, he cut up into little pieces the dried meat. You can see nice textures of. It's dried already during a few months. I let it sit for a bit too long, not because it's getting bad. It's actually getting better, but because it's more difficult to cut if it's already so hardened. You have to really be careful with a knife, of course, not to slip. But as he's checking whether there might be something better than he already got, komm mal rüber. He's always checking, if he's got something nice. What I have, yeah, you're doing a good job. What I might have could always be better, no? Ist der für dich? Oh, so lecker. Ist der lecker? You see, with these very dried ones, at least he doesn't just swallow it away, but does a little bit of chewing. A little bit only, not too much. It'll be gone just now, but it's a nice treat for in between, for giving some raw meat. Because if I give him raw meat before I eat mine and cook it, it'll, because he's not used to it, give him diarrhea. But these dried ones, they don't. And it's a nice snack to make your own biltong treats. Ja, lecker. More, huh? So this way they can go right back in the fridge. And because he's been anticipating so much, of course he'll get another one. Are you checking around the corner? Didi. Okay. Lecker. Uh-huh. That was lecker. It looks like he was secretly watching the videos we just made with me, lying at my head's end and watching into the screen what he just... Oh, now he's sleeping and pretending I didn't see anything. Nice to see him peaceful and happy, no? We walked, we played, discovered, sniffed, ate, chewed. Now it's nice and cool, the fan is on, not too warm anymore. He even had some cod liver. I bought a tin of cod liver with the sardines that I tested for my knees. So some vitamin A bombs for my skin healing. And of course it's got such a strong odor, flavor, he wanted some too. So I put a few traces on his dry food, so that with the load of fat it won't cause disruptions, but it's about the scent. And he was wild about it. And now content. And the ultimate relaxed stage of contentment, which I celebrate and gives me peace to see this.